I mean, we're still sticking on the international scene, and we were talking about #1 goalkeepers. Obviously, you've been in that position.
Yeah.
And being in that position, you've played under different managers. Briefly about the different kind of managers you've played under at international level.
At international level, they've all had very different styles. As a kid, I was in the under-21s, and I got brought up to the full squad to train, and Kevin Keegan was the manager, and that was much more like a club atmosphere. You know, the more relaxed, and training was more relaxed, and there was more fun involved, fun environment, and to be involved in that and to see that, because I was only young, I was still actually training with some of the heroes, some of the people that I watched on the telly, and that was a really good environment to come into. I really made my debut under Sven. Sven was the first one who picked me. It brought me into the squad. I got a couple of games in friendlies, but my
what was
first
Sven
time.
like? Because, you know, from a neutral person, from a fan's perspective, and a former footballer, you read so much about Sven's lifestyle, and it almost shadows his managerial career. I mean, for him to be an England manager, I mean, they must have looked, you know, the thought process was, I mean, really good to pick him. What was he like?
Sven was a brilliant man manager. He worked on respect. He wasn't a shouter, he wasn't a screamer. He wouldn't, if you were losing or a bad performance, he wouldn't come and scream at the team. He was always constructive. He was very tactically aware, but he dealt with respect. He gave the players respect, and he expected the players in turn to respect him. And for me, the England manager's job, I think there's a myth that you need the best coach in the world. You don't. You need a very good man manager. The best coach in the world, what is he going to coach the best players in the country in 3 days? The England manager has to be able to prepare a team in 3 days and know what he's got in his dressing room and how to get the best out of each individual player. The best coach in the world isn't going to coach the best players in the country anything that they don't know in 3 days. But he has to manage them and prepare a team in a short time.
So basically just play with their minds, get the best out of them, get them.
There's so many different characters, so many different egos.
And top players of their clubs.
Top players of the club, he needs to know how to bring that all together and to get them all individually wanting to play for him. There's so many different clubs, so many different players, so many different egos, and the England team, we could pick, me and you could sit here and we'd be 1 or 2 players apart from the same team.
Absolutely.
But it's how we would send them out on the pitch, what tactics we would give them, and what frame of mind we'd be able to send them out on the pitch in.
And you reckon Sven was really good at that?
Sven was good at that. Terry Venables at club level was very good at that, but I didn't work with him at international level. He was very, very good at that. Some of the best managers I had were at club level.
And just coming back to the squad you played with, what do you reckon was the problem that, I mean, you compared to the current squad, you had your Lampards, you had your Gerrards, you had
we were the so-called golden generation.
Absolutely.
We were supposed to win the World Cup in 2006.
You had your Rios, who was one of the best centre-backs in ball-playing centre-backs. And what do you reckon was that one little niggling issue, if you could put it down to one?
If I could do that, I'd be an England manager. There was something. We had a great team, and we had unbelievable individual players.
When you walked out with that squad, I mean, I'm a fan here watching England, and I look at these guys who plays in the Premier League week in, week out, and this is the heroes of Liverpool and United's and whatever not, right? And put together, like you just mentioned. You guys did believe that you guys were winners, right? When you walked out.
Yeah, we certainly did. I mean, it took us time. We grew in confidence. With the England team, the expectation is always there. It weighs on the players' shoulders. So there's always an edge to a performance. But the further that we progressed in the 2006 World Cup, the more we believed. And I think even when we lost to Portugal in the quarterfinals on penalties, we lost Wayne Rooney, but with 10 men, we still took them to penalties. Yeah. And at that point, if we'd have got through, I think we'd have had a real chance there because we were growing in confidence and we were growing as a team. Unlucky, you say you're unlucky, you make your own luck in football. I don't believe you're unlucky, but at that time, to lose on penalties, if we could have progressed then I think we may have gone on to achieve something because the team was there, the individuals were there, and the team was coming. The problem with the England team, and it has been for a long time, there's 11 individually very good players, but nobody's actually put a team together. A team is always better than 11 individuals.
So you really don't have a specific answer to how this golden generation that you played in, your backs, your Lampards,
I don't think we did a lot wrong. There wasn't a lot wrong at the time. With the results in the qualifying,
fine details?
Very fine. The results in qualifying were excellent. Our qualifying record was unbelievable. We got to the tournament. I think we conceded. I didn't think we conceded the goal until however long in the tournament. And it was one game which we went down to 10 men and we still managed to take it to the penalties. As you say, it's the final details, losing on the penalties. Who knows? Hindsight's a great thing. Maybe we could have actually gone on to achieve something then. I retired from international football.
After that, though?
Yeah. And it was. Is it Fabio Capello's reign? That was at that time, yeah. And for me at the time.
And Big Sam thought you were immaculate.
I was playing,
that season.
Playing well. Did well. Had a good season. But it was a bit like the Joe Hart situation at Manchester City. The foreign manager, he didn't fancy me. They have a pre-perception of players, and the manager, it's a decision. It's a selection choice, and he didn't choose me. And my stage in my career,
and you believe that you deserve to be the number one, didn't you?
You always believe that. You always believe that you should be in the squad.
No, because sometimes some players are very, very.
I didn't want to travel the world watching football. I play enough football, and at that age of my career, that stage of my life, I would rather use the international breaks as a rest rather than travel, being number 3, sitting in the stand. The manager clearly didn't rate me enough to play me or sit me on the bench, so I didn't want to travel the world sitting watching football. If I wasn't in his plans, then okay, fair enough, it's best. And because I went to see him and ask him about his decision, and he wasn't the most approachable manager, and we didn't see eye to eye, so it was best I stepped away from the situation.
So just coming back, Sven was a great man manager, and Capello was.
For me personally, the experience I had with him, he was unapproachable.
Oh. So basically, he was more a tactician.
I didn't spend enough time around him
to know much.
But the dealings that I had with him, we didn't see eye to eye, and his door was never an open door.
I know you're a huge Leeds fan, besides playing for Leeds.
Yeah, it was my home club.
Yeah.
It was nice because I was there I was 12 years old, and I stayed at Leeds for 11 years. I left when I was 23.